Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. What do we got here? I want to do a reading on Kamala Harris and her statement during her CNN interview that if she were elected president, she thinks it would be very important to have a Republican sitting in the cabinet of the president. And it's like, I'm an American. I know nothing about any of this stuff. So there are a bunch. There's 15 cabinet positions in here. I'm going to read them off to you. You can fast forward 2 minutes if you want to skip this part. But the purpose of this reading is to sort of get a vibe on the Republican in question. It could be like Adam Kinzinger. It could be a Liz Cheney. It could be somebody else who I'm not thinking of. There's another person that spoke at the DNC. But, a Republican like that, and I think, again, Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney would probably be, near the top of the list. Simply because they have shown an ability to put country above party. Now, many of you, if not all of you, know who Susan Lin is, and she has warned people up and down, left, right, do not trust Liz Cheney. She's a Cheney. She voted along with Donald Trump on 93% of his policies, things along those lines. I get it, okay? I get it. But at least Liz Cheney has a spine. Adam Kinzinger has a spine. They can actually work on a committee that points out Donald Trump's wrongdoing. So they're not cult. They have a spine and they're not cult members. Now, does that mean that if they could just be never Trumpers as far as that goes? Or at least they played on the team of Republicans and they've seen what Trump has done to the Republican Party and they want the Republican Party back so they can put together their Neolithic policies. That can happen. But I will posit to you that there are some things that having a conservative mindset on actually works really, really well for these cabinet positions. As an example, I would not put a Republican in charge of, the Department of Education or the Environmental Protection Agency. Those are not labor. I would not put them in charge of those things. They're horrific at them. But if you're looking at, Secretary of Defense, if you're looking at Homeland Security, the CIA, having those conservative traits and being able to say no, and knowing that no is not only a word, it's a full sentence, it plays to their strengths. So in other words, you wouldn't put a Republican in a position that plays to their weaknesses. Why in God's name would you do that to yourself? But if you need somebody who's like that, play to their strengths. Here are the cabinet positions. Okay, so you've got the Secretary of State, Vice President apparently, but now this is the order of succession. But here we go. Secretary of State, Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General, Secretary of the Interior, Secretary of Agriculture, Commerce, Labor, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Transportation, Energy, Education, Vet Affairs, Homeland Security, EPA, National Intelligence, United States Trade Representative, and even the Chief of Staff. So there's a bunch of positions. Now, picture an energy like a Liz Cheney. Okay? Secretary of State may not be a bad position for her. I don't think I'd put her in the Treasury. Secretary of Defense? Yeah, that may not be so bad. But then again, we saw what Rumsfeld could do. So then again, maybe not. AG, if I wasn't so concerned about women's rights, abortion rights, and such, yeah, no, we're going to have to pass on. I think Liz Cheney would make an amazing AG. But without those things being settled law, no. Department of Labor, no. Health and Human Services, no. Housing and Urban Development, no. Transportation, Energy, Education, definitely not. Veterans Affairs, sure, why not? Homeland Security, sure, why not? EPA, National Intelligence, yeah, I think so. Trade rep, Ambassador to the United Nations. That could actually work really well too. Economic advisors, small business, management budget, science and technology, CIA. Okay, so, there's things that don't seem as bad. That doesn't mean there couldn't be damage done, but it's not as bad. I want to say that in previous readings when I've read on Liz Cheney that, I thought, appointing her as, first off, I thought she could be a great Secretary of State, but that's neither here nor there at this point. And I don't know if Kamala Harris would appoint Liz Cheney to something that high. But Homeland Security, I could see. Actually, I think, though, the one I was thinking of was Ambassador to the United Nations. I think she could be amazing at that. And again, I think she could be amazing as Secretary of State, too, because you need somebody who's intelligent, can think on their own, has a backbone of steel, and, can hold her own with confidence. And I think Liz Cheney embodies all of those things. If she could unleash the empathy and compassion part of her personality that's probably locked up tight because of ideology, she could be really a force for good. Again, I know I get things in the comments about Liz Cheney. I get it. I hear what Susan Lynn's saying. I'm not saying Susan Lynn's wrong. I'm just saying that, if you could uncork that part of her personality, the strengths that she does have could be an amazing force behind things. But let's take a look at the Kamala Harris's comments about adding a Republican to her cabinet. Let's look at the energy around that. Maybe we can figure out where she's going with this, okay? This reading is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just some random dude on the internet throwing tarot cards. And I hope you find this reading insightful. So here we go. Four of Wands is the foundation of the reading. Welcoming, I think Kamala Harris is going to take a Nancy Pelosi-esque view that it's not the person's political party per se, it's who can get the job done. Let's open the door to the government and show that we can get the best people in there to get the job done. Partisan politics as we know it might be on the decline. Kamala Harris is going to do things differently. The other thing why I would think like a Liz Cheney could be in there is I think Liz Cheney could handle Kamala Harris's strong personality. There's a rumor, which is probably true, but it's a rumor because I have no way of confirming it, that Kamala Harris could be a very difficult person to work with. Could she work with Liz Cheney? Yeah. Could they lock horns and be at each other's, be really grumpy at each other? Sure. But at the same time, neither one of these women's, they're not a daisy, a wilting daisy or something like that. Strong personalities, and they can get a lot of stuff done. What's going to challenge this? Finding the right person. I think Kamala Harris wants to get some Republicans in the cabinet. It might be more than one. You just got to find the right people, and you can't be a darn fool about it. MAGA need not apply in this one. And part of it is folks that have rejected MAGA, folks that have shown that they can put country above party would be among those. In the past, you got the Emperor card here. So many layers on this one. The Emperor could just be the traditional way things have been. When you're in charge, you replace all the Democrats with Republicans, or all the Republicans with Democrats. That's not entirely true. Obama had a mixed cabinet, and even Trump had a Democrat in his cabinet. But it's not being tyrannical here. It's leaving kind of like leaving the old ways behind. But I think also it's the I'll just leave it at that. And this could also represent Kamala Harris's personality. She's very strong, but I think it's just leaving the old ways behind. Current situation is temperance. I like this in that part of the reason for doing this is to send a message to Americans that it's not just the Democrats taking over. The Republicans have messaged that so much, and many of the Republican voters are going to believe that. It's a bit of a peace offering. But more than that, don't get hung up on that. More than that, we're looking for the right people. We're not going to put somebody in there and make us look foolish. It's finding the right person for the job, playing to their strengths. And it's getting rid of partisan toxicity. Sometimes you can come to your best decisions when you've got strong arguments for both sides. How can you make an informed decision if you haven't heard strong arguments from both sides? And by strong arguments, I mean reasonable arguments, pros and cons. Everything's got a pro, everything's got a con. Sometimes you take the thing that has the more pros than cons, the ones that have, the greater risk or the lesser risk of things. There's all sorts of different ways to approach a problem and come to a decision. The last thing you want to do is take something that's high risk with low reward. All right. And if you surround yourself with yes men, you start putting yourself in a position where you don't know both sides of the story. See Trump for more. He's surrounded by yes men and he made horrific decisions. His campaign is surrounded by yes men and he still makes horrific decisions. Overarching energy is the Ace of Coins. Offering a secretary position in the cabinet is a big deal. These are very coveted positions here. And it can send a message, again, to try and take the toxicity down in Congress, no less. I'm not suggesting you put a Mike Johnson, a Jim Jordan, a Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell in any of these positions. But, you can elevate some moderates in there. You can elevate other folks to it. Keep going. It's a valuable position here, and it could pay big dividends going down the road. Speaking of going down the road, paying big dividends, the lesson to be learned is offering... No, it's not that they're mercenaries. Mercenaries, the low energy version. It's offering that thing of value, showing that you're offering that thing of value. But again, the trick is finding the right person. Kamala Harris doesn't strike me as the person who's just going to fill a slot with some idiot. That's not going to happen. Give her credit for this. Or give her more credit. Give her your trust over your fear. Out comes the Ace of Swords. I think she'll be justified with this. The people that do this position will probably do a very good job. Again, this is your, I fully expect Merrick Garland to resign his position before Harris takes office. Or maybe soon afterwards. But I expect he's going to announce his resignation, which will give Kamala Harris an opportunity to name her own attorney general, for instance. And, a lot of people would say they'd want Jack Smith. I don't think Jack Smith's a Democrat. I'd have to look that up. Let me check real quick. But maybe we don't know. And how about C, none of the above? He's an independent. He's not affiliated with the political party, which that's the right call. That way you can't be called partisan, right? You get to vote for who you want. Yeah, imagine Jack Smith as your attorney general. Does that put a smile on your face? Yeah. So I think Kamala Harris is open to the idea. I think she sees the value in it. And honestly, Kamala Harris strikes me as she's the type of person... Think about how she grew up. She grew up having to be bused to school out of the neighborhood that she was working in Oakland. She had to be bused to school. And here's a girl, daughter of immigrants, who's worked her way up, been voted, again, district attorney, attorney general, U.S. senator, vice president, now going for president. All opportunities. She's not the type of person, she's not a ladder puller-upper. She doesn't pull up the ladder behind her. It shouldn't matter what your political affiliation is. Are you the best person for the job? And, with affirmative action and things along those lines, if the playing field was level, we won't need affirmative action. The playing field is not level yet. Not for gender, not for race. It might be closer for gender at this point, at least in the field I work in. It may not be in your field. But, there's things that can be done on this one as far as improving us as a country. But I think Kamala Harris is the type that she doesn't care. She wants the best person she can get in there. And that if that's another political party, that's another political party. But it is also politics, and this is about rewarding people. Do not expect she's going to reward people that do not deserve it. Because I think that's why she's so difficult to work with. Because she has an expectation. And if you don't meet that expectation, there's going to be problems. That's why I like her. She will get performance out of people. Let's describe the job or cabinet post or post that Kamala Harris might offer to a Republican. Ten of Swords. I don't know how I'm going to translate this. I'll do a four-quarter. Ten of Swords, bringing things to an end. It's not betrayal, but death by 1,000 cuts. Let's take a look here. Knight of Swords, Fool card, the World card, Page of Cups. Okay. In some ways, the position she'll do it's to end MAGA, and it's gonna also be an end to nepotism, but not like there's nepotism in there, but like political party nepotism is going to be put to an end. So it's kind of telling me what she's planning on doing. She's doing something new and different. What you want with these people, these people, like they're another race, with the cabinet members of a different party, you want the ones that are hungry, that they're eager, they're willing to do, they're self-motivated, and they can charge forward. We had the Sword of Justice here. They've got that Sword of Justice as well. And there's going to be some international facing posts with this. You could say it's putting an end to the page, and it's going to put an end quickly to the Page of Cups as she goes down this new path. But when I saw this card, think military, think defense, think world, things that impact the world with it. Which I think just align. Maybe I'm confirmation biasing here, but I think that aligns with what I was kind of feeling earlier, is put the Republicans in positions where they will succeed. And give me a little four-carder. Describe the things that Kamala Harris is looking for with a Republican she puts in a position. Describe the traits that she's looking for. Well, it could be anybody. Describe the traits of anybody she's looking to put in a position, but I'd like to focus on the Republicans. I'd like to think, again, that she's going to put people in positions where they are most likely to succeed and plays to their strengths. What is she looking for, especially with the GOP? A strong sense of justice. I'm going to do just something a little bit different. It's going to be a four. Let's do two signifiers here. And the double card, a sense of justice, and folks that have unchained themselves from Trump and MAGA. What are the things that they should be like? They have to be trustworthy. They can't have shown that they can't be sneaks, double talkers, things along those lines. The folks that voted against the certification of results need not apply. Those who spoke out against it need apply. Ace of Cups. They have to be passionate about what they're doing. They're going to get a lot of exposure, and they, in some ways, getting these cabinet positions are going to make them rising stars. You're almost creating your own opponents here, but at the same time, it's also the calm after the storm. It's the ones, again, it's putting party putting country above party. I think Lena has this as her what's best of the United States card. It's finding the people who are stars, who are the best at what they do. Truth, honesty, integrity. They're fighting. Look at these cards here. They're fighting for what's best in America. They put their country. Steve Rogers, Captain America, would have conservative traits. He absolutely would. But at the same time, he's also about fairness and justice. Great traits. She wants people who are passionate, who are trustworthy, who represent the best of the United States and are honest, transparent. Man, I hope she's got she needs a sorting hat or Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. Okay. Would Liz Cheney fall into these categories? Would Kamala Harris appoint somebody like Liz Cheney in her cabinet? Let's take a look. Certainly thinking about it. Certainly thinking about it, looking at all the values of this person. Betrayal and heartbreak. This could be what was done to Liz Cheney when she was the number three or number two. I think is number 3 person in the Republican Party in the House. And, by holding Trump accountable, she torpedoed her short-term political career. Not her long-term, but her short-term. No, then we have a crossroads. We have a decision to make. King of Swords. The Fool card. Yeah, Liz Cheney absolutely would qualify as something that she would be willing to take a flyer on. On the one hand, how are the Democrats going to react to this? Because she's a Cheney after all. But at the same time, Liz Cheney did things on the January 6th committee and really drove it. You can talk to Benny Thompson about his opinion of Liz Cheney. He worked with her hand in hand, and she's got that very masculine King of Swords type energy. No nonsense, cuts right through the BS and gets right to the core of things. Is that the type of person that Kamala Harris would value in her cabinet? Yeah. Put her in the right position. Man, what an asset. How about Adam Kinzinger? Let's look him up too. Would she consider Adam Kinzinger? Is he a personality type that would fit well in her cabinet? Right, Adam Kinzinger. 3 of Cups, celebration, raising your cups. 2 of Cups, agreements. He did speak at the DNC after all. Agreements, going after Trump. He and Liz Cheney both went after that in the January 6th committee. Another 3 of Coins, discussions going on behind the scenes. And the Ace of Swords, Sword of Truth and Justice, which was the outcome card. And the hard charger card. I would say yes, Adam Kinzinger is going to be... Look at the overlap cards. You got these 2 cards overlapping, and this was the outcome card in the previous reading. Liz Cheney had the Fool card, which is a major arcana in there. I would not be surprised even a little bit to see Adam Kinzinger be offered and likely accept a cabinet post under Liz Cheney. What his cabinet post would be, I don't know. I don't know where his strengths lie. Nor am I trying to predict that. There's too many of those darn positions. But expect it's going to be somebody like that. Okay? It's not going to be a horrific person. It's going to be somebody who you're willing to give a chance to. And you should trust Kamala Harris, her team for vetting. That doesn't mean she's going to be 100% correct, and the decisions may not be the greatest decisions, but at least she's trying to do something different, and she has high expectations, and I suspect she's going to be able to vet and get really qualified people into those positions, and ultimately, that's what we should be wanting in our positions. Not whose political party is there, but the folks that can do the job the best. Even if we disagree with them politically, if they can do the job that they're supposed to be doing at the time, that's what we want. The last thing if you had like your Secretary of Agriculture was a super MAGA Trumper and just praising Trump, whatever he's doing, you're going to question whether or not he's even qualified to do the job, because it seems like his qualification is praising Trump. Okay. So if you put somebody in Secretary of Agriculture who's praising Kamala Harris, exactly like the Secretary of Agriculture might have praised Donald Trump, you don't want that extreme either, because then we're just putting in extremists on the left and cult members, as opposed to cult members and extremists on the right. You want somebody who is qualified to do the job. Almost as if, can you do the job without being political? Yes, that's where you want to be. All right. I think we're going to be okay with this. I really do think we're going to be okay with this. All right. I've got other ideas for readings here, and I'm going to hit one of those in just a second. Thank you very much for watching this channel and supporting it. I appreciate it. I hope you found this reading insightful. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, so do keep that in mind. I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.